Welcome to the Sacred Light Collective, where we explore our experience as a multidimensional spirit in physical form, balancing being in this world but not of it. My name is Ali, your multidimensional guide, so join me as we co-create our shared experiences, conversations with spirit, all things light language, activations and energy as we remember who we truly are. Hello and welcome back to another episode. You are with Ali, my Sacred Light family. Welcome again. I am really feeling this journey for us on creating and choosing, shifting our reality. I don't know if you are noticing that, and I would invite you to bring some awareness to where this might be playing out for you in your reality, in your day-to-day grounded experience, as I have really felt this sense of us being on a journey. And I, usually have connected with this in relation to me experiencing it and bringing you along for the ride. But I really feel in our energy that we are on this path together. And quite often the image that comes through is from The Wizard of Oz, where Dorothy and the gang are linked arms and they're skipping down the road. They're off to see the wizard. And that's really what I feel like we are doing here together. And so I just wanted to bring that to your awareness in case you haven't connected the dots, in case you are not as consciously aware that you are also receiving opportunity to create and to choose your reality as you listen in, as you step into this energetic field with the Sacred Light Collective and with myself. I feel really honored and privileged that I am sharing this with you and that we are in this together. And I would love to hear if you are experiencing any shifts, if you are noticing where you're being called to be a little bit more conscious with your creation. And I would like to really share a little bit more about what has come through for me over the last week or two. It feels like time moves so quickly and yet so slowly at the same time. And I am allowing myself to move with the flow as much as possible. And so I guess that is sometimes why it feels like it's moving fast, and sometimes it feels like it's moving slow, because it depends on the flow that I am moving with. But I have really had a number of opportunities to put into practice some of this conscious awareness around, what I'm choosing to create, or what I am choosing to feel or to be, or to call into my life. And what I have noticed is that almost immediately that I bring my attention to something, or I bring my words to something, I have an opportunity to receive that in some way, shape, or form. Now, in receiving that, it is not always comfortable. And that is what I really wanted to talk a little bit about today, because a lot of conversations that I've been sharing with clients and just even with friends myself about, talking what I'm moving through, I have been really feeling the call and the depth of surrender that is needed when we are in this movement of flow, when we are aligning ourselves to what we are choosing to create, which means sometimes the mind will want something different to what the heart, to the higher self, is actually guiding us towards. And so there can be an incongruence there that requires us to bring some attention to what that is and allow more surrender, more letting go into that space. And what I've been sharing with people from my own perspective, and then also what Spirit has been bringing through in client sessions as well, is that this surrender is where really the work, quote unquote, happens. And in the moment that we need to let go, to surrender, and to trust. As we've been talking about this has been what's been on our path, on our journey, and it has been interesting just to see how uncomfortable that point of surrender can be. And it has recently really landed very clearly for me that surrender is not all about the sunshines and rainbows and unicorns. The moments that we're being called to surrender are some of the murkiest, deepest, most challenging moments that require us to be in that frequency, in the frequency of surrender. And that is what has been most challenging for me, is to see where I still feel the need to control, where I still have an attachment to an outcome or to a creation, even to a state of being at times, and how much that is still drawing me outside of myself and creating some of the blame game, I like to call it. So I can feel where an outside circumstance becomes the issue, rather than seeing what I need to surrender into, what is being mirrored to me in that moment. And that was my invitation, really, that for this episode, was to bring you into awareness of those parts of you, or those places where you're feeling a trigger, you're feeling a reactive response, you are feeling an uncomfortable emotion. And where is that drawing you again outside of yourself? And how can you hold it? How can you be within? How can you open your heart and allow yourself to surrender and sink into what it is mirroring to you, what it is showing you, what is the gift, the lesson, the experience bringing forward for you to see, to witness and acknowledge more deeply within yourself. And as a client said to me recently, but this is so hard, it's such hard work. I've been trying so hard and I've been really focused on this. And I said to her, I know how challenging it can be bringing conscious awareness, how it can really be to bring that awareness within and to really, really be honest with yourself and look at those parts of you and those places or those aspects of you that are still needing to be held or needing to even just be uncovered. And what was super fascinating for me is that in my own personal experience that I have been able to share is that I met an inner child aspect who was still hiding in the corner. She had been told to be the good girl, to be quiet, to be seen and not heard. And so she was still sitting in the dark in the corner. And I felt her for the first time in this surrendering more deeply to allowing myself to be seen. And she had been really holding me back from fear of rejection, from fear of being too much, from fear of being in trouble, for upsetting other people, maybe scaring, maybe hurting other people. There were so many layers to her that I was not even conscious of. And in fact, when I sat with a trusted friend to explore this a little more deeply, I could feel all of her fears. I could feel all of the shame that she was carrying, all of the judgments, the programs, the beliefs. But I couldn't connect to any conscious experiences of that happening. And I can see how I had dismissed it because I didn't, quote unquote, remember. I didn't have any interactions that cropped up in my memories that made that experience real, I guess, is what it felt like. It felt like, no, I must be making this up. And so in a way, I had been shutting her out even more myself because I didn't believe in her. I didn't listen to her. I didn't let her be seen. And it was so interesting when I first asked her, what can I do for you? All she wanted was attention. And within the space of a couple of hours of just being aware of her, of taking her with me as I went about my day, I felt this sense of, her little hand in mine as we went about the day. I let her come with me. She just wanted to then observe. She just wanted to come out of the corner and she wanted to participate. And then another couple of hours passed and I could feel her joy at watching all the things that were happening in life, all of the experiences, and that she was ready to actually give me an opportunity to share in something with her that she felt joyful about, that ignited that playfulness within her, that allowed her to come back into her true divine innocence as well. And it was a super interesting experience because I had sat with this for 3 or 4 days of this feeling of this reactive state of being, the emotion, trying to show up in certain commitments that I had and feeling this intense resistance and not able to identify why, what had shifted, what had changed. And then when this unfolded and I felt her relief at being able to just express herself, to be in the fullness of her expression, it was like a great weight had lifted off me. A veil had lifted off me. And what was so interesting is when I checked in with my higher self and my guides, they reflected to me how I had allowed myself to be drawn outside of my heart, outside of my experience, to make it about something else that was happening, about another person, or that there was something bigger going on outside of me that needed my attention. And it was a wonderful moment for me to also recognize about how easily that can happen, where with all the work that I do, with all that I talk about, with all of the conversation, communication and knowledge, everything that I have, that there are still moments that this will occur for me too. But the power of this was just another anchor, another opportunity to ground this into my reality, to make this part of the reality that I choose to live, to be in, to express myself within. It is all part of those building blocks. And that was what came forward for me to share with you, is also how all of this can play out and it not feel like on the surface that it is connected. But there is always a thread, a weaving to whatever it is that we are walking through. And that is why the invitation is here for you to reflect, to contemplate what has been coming through for the last week or two. Have you been reactive? Have you been triggered? Have you been noticing where you've been pulled outside of yourself? And allow yourself to sit with that, to reflect on the mirror. What is it mirroring within you? Could it be there is some inner child aspect of you that needs to be seen, that needs some attention? Is it just being in your heart coherence, in presence with your heart? Feeling whatever is coming through, allowing that emotion to be felt. There is so many people walking through a deeper heart opening and expansion at the moment, which means that you are being called to remain open. And that can be really challenging when the walls want to come up, you want to retreat. That was my first indication that something was not right with me. Well, it wasn't sitting right with me, because I could feel myself retreating and wanting to dim my light, contracting. And so that was my first indication. Okay, what is going on here? Why am I feeling like I need to step back to hide? And as challenging as it feels, it's in those moments of allowing the heart to remain open, to be a little vulnerable, to feel the hurt, the pain, the sadness, the anger, the frustration, whatever the emotion is, but allowing it just to move through you. Allowing it to bring what you need to know, to bring what you need to see, to bring what you need to feel, to be the signpost, the messenger, but then allow it to go so the next piece of that layer can come through. And my suggestion is to move your body. For me, walking, even running sometimes, is really supportive when I'm in a moment of needing to remain open, to remain vulnerable in my heart, but to allow myself to hold an experience or a feeling or an emotion or whatever is creating that triggered reaction within me, so that I can allow myself to just move with that, to flow with that, to allow the life experience to move with me, to move through me. And I highly recommend connecting with something like walking or running and allowing that to move through, allowing it to become present, to be felt, and then maybe taking some time to journal, to write it out, to get a clearer picture of what is really needing to be seen, to be witnessed, to be acknowledged within you. And as challenging as these moments are, these experiences are, and how the temptation is to want to beat yourself up or to feel like, oh, I've taken 3 steps backwards, I have been really feeling Kuan Yin's presence with myself and with every session, stepping in to remind us of self-compassion, self-forgiveness, self-love. And so I want to bring that frequency forward, to bring in this gentle, compassionate approach for yourself as you navigate these experiences, as you forgive yourself for forgetting, for tripping up. Because remember, it's in these moments when we are in the discomfort that are providing us with the growth, the lesson, the healing, the experience that we need as part of this evolution. So we want these things to happen and we want them to keep moving. We want to keep meeting ourselves on that spiral in a different point. So the other piece is also recognizing and celebrating when you move through these, when you become aware of these moments. Again, Kuan Yin invited me to celebrate with my inner child, to do something fun together, to celebrate this moment of reconnection, of remembering. And let me tell you, it was actually super simple. I just pulled out my colored pencils, crayons, and we just drew. We drew some codes, we drew patterns, we shaded, we just colored. But it felt like a beautiful way to complete that, to seal that. So don't forget to see the moments as a celebration point, to bring some playfulness to the journey, because our human selves do make this a lot more heavy, a lot more serious than it needs to be at times. And I can feel our collective inner children inviting in the question. So sit with your inner child and ask, what would you like, or what would be fun for you to celebrate these moments of growth, these moments of expansion? What would be fun to be a celebration for us? As your inner child is really desiring to create, to play, to bring the magic to this journey for you, for us. I now have an image of us on the yellow brick road with a trail of inner children behind us. The pathways filled with our inner children coming along because they are as excited as we are to get to the land of Oz. On that note, I'm just really feeling to seal in this awareness, this knowledge, this wisdom that you are accessing, remembering, accumulating, and embodying. So inviting you to take a deep breath in, to allow the heart to open, to allow your field, your energetic field to open. To simply receive. Hano haini karaku yamaki haraki totri hamakaina. Hato humati sataki rokumma yena ise toto yemayeda. Ando toto yeshamu kienda teruko mahena yetuku yanayana. As you breathe and you receive, feeling this sense of these codes assisting that integration of embodiment, dropping into your heart space, dropping into a deeper heart coherence, body coherence. Hanno hashemu hanno reyomi hanni rukuhi mayena. Hanno tirhum masemu hunne harkemu hanne kiena. Hanno hamokiena unmese unneshe romani hani hahuhuana. Huhunai. Ando hemo hase huhunenaena. Allowing your body and your field to soften, to expand as you integrate, as you recalibrate to this awareness, this knowledge, this wisdom, the remembering that is awakening within you. Guiding you to integrate with ease, to receive expansion without overwhelm, to be in presence with the moment, in heart and body coherence. Inviting in the harmony and unity of your mind, your body, and your spirit. And so it is, and so it is, and so it is. Deep breath in, my dear friends. Breathing that out. Simplicity is key. A phrase that I've been hearing all week, and our guides just ask me to drop that in now as we close this episode. Remember, simplicity is key. Less is more. Thank you for sharing in this journey with me, for being brave and stepping in to meet yourself more deeply. As always, the light, the love, the divinity within me honors the light, the love, the divinity within you. Namaste. Until next time, much love.